where the river meets the sky. In a small riverside town called Elmsworth, where the willow trees bowed gently over the water and the sunsets painted the sky with fire, lived a quiet man named Thomas Reed. A former traveler and photographer, he had returned to his childhood town after a long journey across continents, hoping to find peace and stillness. Each morning, Thomas would walk down to the old wooden bridge by the river, camera in hand, capturing the golden mist as it lifted from the water. He lived alone in a small cottage that had once belonged to his grandmother, surrounded by books, photographs, and memories of distant lands. But the quiet did not last. One late summer evening, as Thomas stood by the bridge capturing the colors of dusk, he noticed someone sketching beneath the willows. It was a woman, young, with auburn hair tied in a messy bun, a sketchpad balanced on her knees, and a look of fierce concentration in her eyes. She didn't see him at first, but something about her, the stillness, the softness, caught his attention. Her name was Eliza Hart, a painter from the city who had come to Elmsworth for inspiration. She'd rented a cabin near the river, hoping to escape the noise of gallery openings and critics. Her art, once full of color, had lately lost its soul, and she believed only nature could bring it back. They spoke for the first time when Thomas offered her a photograph of the sunset she was trying to capture. She smiled, and it was the kind of smile that made even silence feel golden. From that evening on, their paths crossed more often, by accident at first, then with growing intention. They shared morning coffees on the dock, long walks through the forest, and afternoons where he'd take pictures and she'd paint beside him. Their art began to merge, her colors found new life through his lenses, and his photos captured stories he hadn't noticed before. One rainy afternoon, they took shelter in the boathouse by the river. Thunder rolled above them, and Eliza, shivering, leaned close. "Why did you stop traveling?" she asked. Thomas hesitated. I was searching for something I couldn't name. But every place felt temporary. And then I came back here. And now." He looked at her. "I think I've found it." Eliza didn't reply with words. She reached for his hand instead. Her touch was light, but her eyes, deep as the river, said everything. The seasons turned. Autumn came with its golden leaves, then the snow of winter, and still, they stayed. Love grew not with grand gestures, but with quiet understanding, shared glances, soft laughs, and the way they filled each other's silence with peace. One spring morning, as the cherry trees bloomed, Thomas led Eliza to the bridge. He handed her a small box with a silver ring shaped like a river winding into the sky. "Eliza," he said, voice steady but full of emotion. "You brought color back to my life. Will you stay, not just in this town, but with me, wherever life flows?" Tears shimmered in her eyes, but her smile was steady. "Yes," she whispered. "Always." And so, in the town where the river met the sky, their love flowed, deep, calm, and endless, captured not in photographs or paintings, but in the quiet moments that made a life. Whispers of the Wind. In a quiet coastal town where the sea met the cliffs in an endless embrace, lived a young woman named Clara. She was a painter who found solace in the rhythm of waves and the scent of salt in the air. Every morning, she would walk to the edge of the cliffs with her canvas and brushes, trying to capture the ever-changing colors of the sea. One summer, a stranger arrived in town. His name was Elias, a writer escaping the chaos of city life. He rented the small cottage next to Clara's, hoping the peace would mend his broken inspiration. Their first meeting was anything but romantic. Clara was painting near the cliff's edge when Elias, startled by a swooping gull, accidentally knocked over her easel. "I'm so sorry," he stammered, brushing sand off her canvas. Clara, though annoyed, saw the panic in his eyes and couldn't help but smile. "It's okay. The sea will give me another masterpiece tomorrow." From that moment, something shifted. They began seeing each other often, at the market, in the cafe, on the shoreline. Elias would sit nearby as Clara painted, scribbling thoughts in his notebook while pretending not to watch her. Clara noticed his quiet presence, the way he listened to the sea like it was telling him secrets only he could hear. Days turned into weeks. They shared their pasts slowly. Clara spoke of her father, a fisherman lost to the waves, and how painting kept his memory alive. Elias opened up about his writer's block, the heartbreak that silenced his words, and the loneliness he couldn't seem to escape. One evening, a storm rolled in unexpectedly. Clara was still out painting. Concerned, Elias grabbed an umbrella and ran to the cliffs. He found her there, drenched, refusing to leave until her canvas was finished. "You'll catch a cold," he shouted over the wind. "I need to finish this," she replied, her hair whipping around her face. Without another word, Elias stood behind her, shielding her with the umbrella. When she finally stepped back, satisfied, she turned to him. "Thank you," she whispered. And in that moment, under the gray skies and the roaring wind, they kissed. After the storm, everything changed. Their days were filled with laughter, creativity, and quiet moments where nothing needed to be said. Elias began writing again, poems, stories, letters he never sent. Clara painted with new colors, ones she'd never used before he came. As summer faded, Elias faced a decision. His publisher wanted him back in the city. He was torn between duty and the new life he'd found in Clara. On their last night together, they sat on the cliffside in silence. "I don't want to lose this," he said. "You won't," Clara replied. "The wind brought you here. It'll bring you back." He left the next morning, promising to return. Months passed. Letters flew between them like birds crossing the ocean. And then, one spring morning, Clara received a package. Inside was Elias's first published book since his return to writing. On the first page, a dedication read, "To Clara, who taught me how to listen to the wind." That evening, as the sun set over the sea, a familiar figure appeared on the cliffside path. Elias had come back, not just for the season, but for good. They embraced, the wind whispering around them like an old friend. And from that day on, their love became a part of the town's quiet rhythm, two hearts bound by the sea, the sky, and the whispers of the wind.